It's my absolute dream making these videos, educating people about wildlife. If you would like to put a smile on my face by buying me a coffee or a cheap meal, it takes 30 seconds to visit my Patreon through the link in the description. Stay wild! Hey ducks! Hello, I'm Amy Wild. Today, we're in Tasmania. Let's start at home base this time, before beginning the big adventure. I'm on the top of Mount Wellington, overlooking Hobart, capital of Tasmania. Ah, what's this? It's a macropod, part of the kangaroo family. Aha, see those black toes? And there's a bit of white down the side of his face. This must be a Bennett's wallaby, a subspecies of the red-necked wallaby, which occurs on mainland Australia. And here's someone we've seen before on the last episode, another pademelon, one of many in Tasmania. You may notice the not quite so native vegetation this one's feeding on. I'm actually watching him from the backyard of the house I'm staying in. I'm about to head down for a walk through the bush and along the beach that runs below this property. Do you see this guy? Got him! Look at this guy! Haha, a reptile! With only 17 lizard species in Tasmania, they're a relatively rare find. This one is a white skink, Liopholis whitii, and happens to be about the most beautiful lizard here. They occur only along the southeastern corners of Australia. I'm lucky to have caught this one charging his batteries in the sun, as they love to excavate double-ended burrows under rocks or logs to hide in, which they often share with other individuals, sometimes even living in small colonies. Okay, let's put him back to his basking. Ooh, look at these little sparklies. This is actually a creche of immature beetles, ground shield bugs, often called jewel bugs. The babies gather like this, loosely guarded by adults for safety. Here's that beach I mentioned, just a few minutes walk from my host's backyard. We're only about 25 minutes out of Hobart, Tasmania's capital too. Beach and bush, not too far from civilization. This is literally my dream living location. If only it were just a little warmer. Oh, what do we have here? A pair of pied oyster catchers, looking for some sandy invertebrates for dinner. And here's a Pacific gull, gorgeous big birds. This one's taking a break from hunting the endless crabs and shellfish around here to do some self-maintenance. Preening is a critical activity for birds, particularly aquatic ones. They're actually rubbing oil from their preen gland onto their beak, and then onto and through their feathers to keep them healthy and waterproof. While there's heaps of untouched nature in Tasmania, it is ultimately a place run by people, and well, this is what you get. These are pine plantations, so at least we're not looking at virgin forest being destroyed. But it was here once. Like the rest of the world, Tasmania has lost a vast amount of its natural forest to land clearing. Worldwide, land clearing, and so habitat loss, is identified as a main threat to 85% of all species described on the IUCN Red List, namely those officially classified as threatened or endangered. In such a strikingly beautiful place, this is a stark reminder on the devastating effect we have on the entire natural world. But in the end, I'm here to celebrate what we have left. So, here we go. may be a little bit touristy, but I reckon it was worth making it here to Russell Falls. It is beautiful. I'm so excited. Time to see Tasmania from horseback. I'm sorry I left my cameraman behind, so couldn't film while at a full gallop. And yes, gotta wear shoes with a saddle. I have tried and failed before, trust me. More riding to come in future episodes. How amazing is this place? This is like Burbury. It's absolutely stunning. I was considering camping here, but I think actually on second thoughts there may be a bit more wildlife a bit further on. In fact, there's a whole lot more I want to see in our limited time, so we're going to push on a little bit more. Ooh, who's this? I hope I can nab him for an ID. Darn it, too quick. He's gone up into this tree. Let's try to get him for a closer look. Got him! Yes! Here's another of Tasmania's 17 species of lizard. This one's a Tasmanian tree skink, Carinascincus pretiosus, as well as the number of scales running around the middle of his body and some specific details of his patterning. That pink flush to the belly there gives away his species. These beautiful fellows occupy the forests, woodlands and rocky areas of most of Tasmania, as well as some of its offshore islands. They don't exist at all on the mainland. Alright, that's enough handling for you. Off you go. Oh, we're friends now. Can I boop you? Can I boop you? Boop! Damn, that horse ride left me a bit sore. It's been too long since my last proper ride. I had a bad fall a few years ago, and this old spine of mine hasn't been the same since. Give me a couple days, I'll be back to normal.
But apparently it's not so strange to happen in summer either. This is crazy. We're on the way to Snug Falls. Let's go.
Ah, here's another Bennett's wallaby, like the one we saw at the start on top of Mount Wellington. You can see why they're also called a red-necked wallaby. As well as that rusty red neck, here you can see his black-tipped ears and paws more clearly. Munching away, look at him, grazing on the tastiest veg you can find, typical wallaby. Crazy fact, these guys can grow up to 1.5 metres tall, which is massive for a wee wallaby. How stunning is this? We're almost at Snug Falls now. This rain is gorgeous. It's a whole other side to Tasmania. This is Snug Falls, isn't it gorgeous? We've made it, and the weather has completely quieted down just as we've come into it. So lucky. You're treating us alright, Tasmania, thank you. On that note though, we do have to finish up here because, well, I've got to go home, take care of my dog, and get back into work, unfortunately. Hope you've enjoyed it, stay wild, and I'll see you next time. Ah, come on, one more thing. So I've got 1 hour before I've got to run off and jump on the plane home. But I really want to try to check out some kelp forests. This is my chance. Let's see how we go. Woo, wish me luck. Let's go. I've been given this location by a local marine biologist friend of mine. I'm near Eagle Hawk Neck. What I instantly notice are The stumps. It's like someone's come along and chopped all the kelp off their stems. Sadly, this isn't a freak coincidence. I didn't expect it to be so bad, or so shallow. This isn't even the species of kelp that forms the deep forests that are so famous. Due to increased temperature from global warming, those forests have been dying. We are down to just 5% left. This stuff is the common kelp. Here's a live one, usually forming shallower mini versions of the giant kelp forests. Even this is mostly dead now. But if I know nature at all, even in the midst of a mass extinction, there's going to be life to find. Ooh, this looks like a banded Morwong. These fish are long-lived, easily surviving 97 years. That's right, this fish will probably live longer than you, or at least it would, if not for overfishing. Studies have found that today, individuals more than just 15 years old are rare. This fish has me stumped. I do not know what he is. If you're up on your marine fish of Tasmania, tell me in the comments what you think he is. Oh, there's 2 of them. There's a special kind of kelp I want to find, and I think it'll be closer to shore. This stuff's called crayweed, a great source of shelter for wildlife, but not that exciting to look at. Aha, this is it, bull kelp, Durvillaea potatorum. It mostly grows around the low tide mark. Check out the size of it. These fronds are insane. I can definitely understand how they're making leather out of kelp these days. Whoa. These are the great stems they grow from, anchoring them to the rock. Ooh, here's a marine snail. Ugh, and some tangled fishing line. Damn, not carrying a dive knife today. Whoa, and who's this? A smooth stingray, one of my favourites. They're also known as the short-tailed stingray. But the tail shouldn't be this short. Looks like it's been cut off by some so-and-so. Does mean there's no sting though, so I can safely get extra close. Hello! This happens to be the largest stingray in the world. They get to at least 2.1 metres in width. I've met others in Western Australia that are super tame. I often hand-fed them as a kid. Notice the little fish on his back. Big Ray won't eat them, but might keep bigger predatory fish at bay. And whenever he feeds, he stirs up plenty of morsels for his piggyback riders. This is a common relationship between little fish and big rays, and the inspiration behind Mr. Ray in Finding Nemo. So good!
So worth the rush snorkel. Oh my gosh. Woo! Stuff is so yummy. Something about Tasmania. There's so much food around. I think I need a quick feed of oysters before I get onto my plane. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Stay wild, and I will see you next time.
Rolling. Rolling. Feel free to fall at any time. Slip.